All right, we are live. Mic check. Is the mic up? Turn my headphones up. Turn my headphones up. So, I didn't know what to name this live stream because I wanted to start this live stream out by saying that I know I'm going to sound like a snob about the topic that I'm going to talk about. But the thing is I don't even know how else to say it. So I feel like I should explain it thoroughly to not try to sound like somebody who's just trying to like flex because they're, living in Europe and got a baby in Europe and they're from America. So it's like a passport bro slash, rich person or something that I'm not rich. Not even close to it. Um, I just lived with life circumstances and just kind of continued on my journey in life. Okay, start off with that. So a friend of mine sent me this. If you're watching, I'm talking about you because you're the only person who sent me something like this. He sent me this, right? And it put me in a, a depression. The reason why it put me in a depression is because I remember, I lived in America for the first 30 years of my life, and I remember the hopelessness I had in finding a woman who's genuinely a woman, proud to be a woman, and is comfortable and feminine and naturally feminine in her own right as a woman. In America, the standards are women's standards are so low that to be woman, I feel sorry for American men who's never left and seen anything else and truly experienced something else. Like I truly feel sorry. So when I go off on this photograph, I'm not trying to go off on it from a perspective of like like Andrew Tate kind of thing. Like you need to step up your game and buy a Bugatti and all that. I'm not. I would never like try to make somebody feel bad about their finances in life or whatever. Like that's definitely not my style. Like I'll go to the dollar store with you. I'll go to the Cheesecake Factory with the other dude, the girl who roasted him. I don't do that. The last thing I would do is try to, is again, unless you're doing dumb shit with money, like you're going to casinos when you're already behind on rent and all that. Unless you're doing like completely stupid shit with money with no, logical form of fixing it, I'm not gonna. The last thing I would ever do is make fun of anybody intentionally because of their financial situation at the time, because it's life. Life happens, no matter. Anyway, I feel sorry for American men who are in America and has never had the true opportunity to leave to another country that was not essentially just America 1.5 kind of thing. Like, when I say that, I mean, like for example, like so I would even put a lot of military guys in the same boat because a lot of military guys will travel, but they'll essentially just stay on base the whole time. So there's like America 1.5 wherever they go. Like many military guys won't actually like leave far away from that home base of the American military base for long. They'll just hop out for a bit and then run back to it, to it. So I feel sorry for any man who's never left North America and truly experienced you know, um, any culture outside of that, America, and from what I hear, Russia is not too far off with how women are there. From what I'm hearing, it's pretty similar there too. Coincidentally, it's always the richer countries. The richer countries, the women quality in some way always severely diminishes the richer the country gets. I've noticed that in some way. Now Russian women, from what I've seen, can generally kind of hold it together physically better, but the mentality is just dog shit. From what I hear, I haven't been there. Actually, I was just hanging out with my one Russian friend 2 days ago. I got some pork ribs with him. Um, But back to this, I feel sorry for guys who, because here's the thing, I remember thinking. Let me go to this so I can zoom in. See, like, okay, for me, it wasn't even okay. Of course, like the first thing I didn't notice was the meat. But for me, can you say, yeah. So for me, the biggest thing was not necessarily even the meat. Okay. And this is where I think there's going to be some disconnects from guys in the U.S. who probably never left. Because again, in the U.S., this is all like you're used to just a lower overall quality of woman. Black, white doesn't matter. Like you're just used. Most guys in America are going to be used to just an overall lesser physical quality or mental quality of woman. And when I say woman, I mean physical qualities and mental qualities. Like you're just used to lower qualities, so you can't really see unless you've left and experienced something else. Truly, like because I remember what it was like for me. I remember looking at this kind of woman, right? And let's go ahead and just ignore the meat. Let's just ignore her holding the meat in her mouth in a restaurant, right? Let's ignore that. The eyelashes, just the shit quality, like the shit hair quality. That hair quality has nothing to do with the angle. That I know that because again, I grew up there with American women, so like that I is it you know is it's oily. Probably hasn't been cleaned in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. And then there's probably tracks underneath or something. But here's the thing. These kind of women are such low quality women that she thinks she looks good. Right? Like she genuinely thinks that her shit is together. Right? That little fucking like part up there that she couldn't like because the hair was too short, so she couldn't like brush it over, so she just kind of left it hanging out like a sideburn in the middle of her head, kind of thing. Like all like it's just it's fucking like it's not gross, but it's just okay. Play this. I make fun of Europe a lot. I think Europe's pathetic. I think Europe on a whole is pathetic. Europe on a whole completely blew plenty of chances to become better than what it ever should have been. I think Europe is literally pathetic in many ways. I've always been very open about that. I'm like Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreations. I think Europe is a complete joke. But if I had to pick one to live in, I would pick Europe over America any day of the week. If I had to choose women wise, I pick European over American any day of the week. Any day. Even in the richer countries, I would rather the richer countries women in Europe than any woman in North America. Okay, that's why I'm still here. Like the eyelashes, the tattoo, like now here's the thing. I don't have problems with no some guys ask me if I have problems with tattoos on women. Okay. I don't have problems with tattoos. Now when I say that, I'm saying that from a man from the perspective of living around completely mostly fit, healthy women, but they're going to be white, but fit, healthy women that you'll see walking down the streets of Prague. I don't have a problem with tattoos or piercings as long as the woman has a certain level of elegance in her physical appearance. I don't have a problem with it, right? Now, this woman, this is how do I? Okay, what this woman is, and this might not be the best example. This is like a great, I don't want to say a great, I say a good quality McDonald's cheeseburger, right? So for anybody who's ever ate at McDonald's their entire life and never ate anything else, they would look at that burger and be like, oh, wow, that's a really nice burger. Looks scrumptious, right? But for somebody who's gone off and had gourmet burgers, now here's another thing. I think Europe always likes to, glorify American burgers. I think Europe actually makes better burgers than North America does. Any burger joint I've been to, most burger joints I've been to in Czech Republic were far better than any burger I've ever had anywhere in North America. The overall quality, right? But again, I've had the burgers over here, so I can look at it and compare. And that McDonald's burger is cool. Like if that's all you can get, if you're just low on money, right, and all you can get is a nice McDonald's burger, yeah, to get the burger, right. I'm not gonna shame you in it, but you know what I mean. Like it's fine. Now the problems come in is when McDonald's try to walk around and be like, I'm a classy burger. You know, like no, you are a McDonald. You are a Big Mac. All right. You all right? I mean, I can see why I can taste you and see why you taste a little good, but you're McDonald's, okay? And the problem is, I know these types of women because again, I grew up around this shit. Like it's just, it's. I feel so. I genuinely feel sorry for the younger men, especially the younger men in America who are growing up with this, and that's all you know, right? Because and then with online dating's gotten tougher. Like I genuinely feel sorry for you. So then what I did after I seen this was I went to my like because I don't use Facebook. I don't go on Facebook much, but I end up logging into my actual Facebook, and I was just looking up like all like the people I used to know back in Ohio, and it's just like so fucking depressing, man. Like that shit is just like it was just so depressing. Like, and then I hit another wave of depression because now it's like, oh my god, I don't even have a place I can go back to and call home now because I've been gone for 10 years. So in reality, any picture I look up on Google Maps, well, that's just a picture. Like my, I have no, deeper attachments to these are just pictures of where I grew up at. I don't know anybody there anymore. And if I did, those people have changed because it's been 10 years. So those people I would hope aren't the same, aren't the same people. I would hope they have grown in some way, which I doubt it, but I would have hoped they'd grown. So I hit another wave of depression. Like, oh my God, like I'm really out here alone in the world. Out of most people I went to high school with or grew up around, I would say 90 to 95% of them, um, 90 95% of them just ended up just I don't even want to talk. Like I just don't even. If I had a choice, I would just never talk to him. He said, Snidefeather. He said, hey, this is my 34th birthday. Happy birthday, man. Also, what's with Europe escorts that they don't want and like Indian men? I myself, a white guy in the Baltics, and escorts having their ad no Indian men. I don't know, because because I don't even do online stuff at all anymore like that. Because here in Czech Republic, like they don't get a lot of not white people. So like they like naturally like they're just severely like lesser cultured. Like I think Europe on a whole is mostly less. And see, now I'm going to dive into why I think Europe's pathetic. I think Europe's pathetic because I think despite them having deeper, richer, segregated history, they're severely uneducated and undercultured. Like if somebody of like just if you're just brown, like they just don't even like they're just scared to even make eye contact with you a lot of times because they don't want to stare and all that. Like like they're severely undercultured in general speaking. Like they're severely undercultured, undereducated on a whole. From my experiences, on a whole. But to go to your question about why they don't like Indian men, the only assumption that I know of is I would guess has something to do with social media, like and them just always making fun of like India, the country. Like in terms of like how they show like the dirty restaurants or dirty bathrooms or like because that's all they're going to show on social media, and nobody ever defends India. And now here's the thing, I did want to talk about this because I was speaking with my Russian friend, because me and my Russian friend, we have great conversations because he's from a country that's powerful and united, and I'm from a country that's powerful and united. And so we have great conversations about Europe, how they're just segregated, they don't grow, they just hope for somebody to handle money, these kind of things, right? So we had a conversation, and I was telling him, like, as an African American in America, right? Um, let's say when it comes time for war, okay, to sum my point up exactly, listen to Muhammad Ali talking about being drafted to go to war, and listen to his statements on being a black man, and now all of a sudden you're supposed to go fight for war when the whites that you fighting for don't even like you in your hometown, right? That perfectly sums up America's situation of racism, right? But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. So for those white people who are about to get mad at me and click off, don't click off yet because I'm coming back with something. So the good part about American racism is this in the U.S. The good part about American racism on how it impacts, the brown people in the U.S. is the entire country knows America's history, how fucked up it was, what they did, right? On some level, the entire country knows. The entire world knows. But the entire country, the American country knows, right? So whenever, like, let's say, like, a black dude, like, talks about it openly, like, the white Americans immediately get sensitive about it because they don't want to be reminded of that past because it's just factual information. That's just it, right? The only way they can combat it is by trying to override it with, oh, white people are depressed now. Yeah, see, we're equal. They tried that shit, and it worked somewhat. But back to the original topic. So now the good part is in America, when black people do say, like, hey, you never paid us back, you never paid us back for what our ancestors did, this and that, blah blah blah, blah. You still treat us like shit. We got all this factual information on how you treat us when we try to apply for jobs. You don't give us good jobs because you don't like us, and you don't like us because we're poor, but we can't get jobs because you don't hire us for jobs. And the white people go, no, it's just in your head. You're just crazy, right? Now, that's fucked up. Don't get me wrong. That is fucked up. But in the end, what that inevitably does, it pushes, it's fucked up, and the black people do get shitted on, but it indirectly pushes them to do other shit, to evolve and innovate, and that is what. And now, and then, so in that innovation and evolving, the blacks became the sports stars, the entertainment stars. Right? Now, what happened by accident was the whole world got to see the African Americans do all these things, right? To the point where you can walk into a regular restaurant and they're playing Jay-Z in the restaurant in English, in a country that don't speak English. They playing Michael Jackson. They'll play the Temptations in restaurants in the middle of Europe where nobody speaks fucking English, and they sitting there dancing to it. I still remember I was with a female friend of mine. Her daughter was in a dance team, and her daughter was like 9 at the time. And the dance team was on stage twerking to English music, literally in English, saying, twerk that ass, bitch, twerk that ass, bitch. But they don't speak English. They didn't know. And they had 9-year-old girls on stage dancing to that shit, right? See, now, again, white people are going to get mad at me. Don't get mad at me yet, because I'm going to come back on this, right? So, with that being said, the African Americans gained so much recognition for how shitty the white Americans treated them that to the point where you cannot go anywhere on earth where they do not know the word nigger with hard R. If you say the word nigger anywhere on earth, they would all get quiet because they all know. Now ask yourself, how do they really know that? Ask yourself, how do they know the hard R is a bad word that you don't say? How do they instinctively know that? I can hear the soft R in rap songs, and they like, but how did they unanimously around the world figure out that the hard R is something that they don't say? I can say it, but they don't say it. Right? Now, where I'm going with this is that the African Americans, in many ways, were lucky to get that worldwide recognition for it. You see what I'm saying? The world recognizes them. Now, let's take, for example, the Romanian gypsies. Let's take the other side of it. The Romanian gypsies were enslaved by Romania for like 200 years. They were sold. There's still letters that show. You can Google it, whatever. You can find it. The Romanian gypsies, there was slaves everywhere on earth, but they never got the same recognition. So nobody's ever going to, show any sense of like respect to them unless they were just weirdly educated in it for some odd reason. But nobody's gonna, nowhere near the amount of people care about the Romanian gypsies past in Romania and how Romania still treats the Romanian gypsies. Nobody cares, and it's fucked up. So like on the back end, like like African Americans do get treated like shit, but at the same instance, like we have the benefit for the world at least acknowledging it in some way. Now to blend it back into Europe, where I was originally headed, was another reason why I think Czech Republic is pathetic in many ways. And I told my Russian friend, because we have these conversations about communism, right? And he was telling me how a lot of it's just propaganda, but they know they'll never listen to a Russian person if they say it. So, they just kind of, the Russian people just kind of have to live with it, right? This from his perspective. And I told him, now in America, the blacks are more told to just get over it. You just get over it. That's it, right? You just get over it. Now, the reason why that works in North America is because the blacks are the relatively extreme minority. They're like, 13% of the population, right? So the other 70% could just say, shut the fuck up, we don't care. And it's just like, well, how can they really, they can't really do anything, right? Now, what happens if you were to flip that? Let's say if 70% of the people were the ones crying, oh, but we lived through communism. And the 13% is like, bro, that was a long time ago. Shut the fuck up. What happens? Well, that majority will just close them out, and all the Czech people can just literally sit at a circle jerk tail and be like, yeah, oh my God, we suffer from communism. Oh my God, yeah, we're so weak. Oh, we're just weak Europe. We're just Czechs, and we were beaten up through communism. Yeah, it's just sad. Yeah, we never have to grow. We never have to develop. We never have to go get higher education. We just keep just being sad about communism and being socially awkward, so we don't have to grow, right? But that's the if you flip the African American to the Caucasian situation in North America, if you were to flip that, that's what happened in Czech Republic, and that's why Czech Republic is in the position it's in. Because as long as they can sit down and get that recognition for, oh my God, you guys suffer communism, oh my God, oh yeah, and they'll go, yeah, oh yeah, we did, yeah, they will never fucking grow. Never. If they will, the first thing they're going to do is sell out to somebody else. And it's sad. Now, to what you're saying about the Indian. I was going to loop that back to the Indian. I completely forgot how I was going to loop all that back into the Indian shit. But but if I had to guess, Indian is definitely. I would say Instagram has a lot to do with that. Social media has a lot to do with it. Well, that's where I was going with it, because Indian men don't have a worldwide persona. Like, black guys have a worldwide persona on some level. Like, we could be seen as strong, or can sing, or whatever the fuck like that, right? Asian guys can be seen as like, well, I think that time's kind of past, but Asian guys can be seen as like, kung fu, or like smart. I think the kung fu era is kind of past. Now it's just intelligent, like book smarts kind of thing. White guys are just, white guys, the world power kind of thing. Every country has space for a white man, because there's a good chance he has relations to, power, to money somewhere. It's just fucked up, but it's how it is. But Indian guys don't have that. Indian guys don't have that immediate thought, of what they are outside of what's going to populate social media, especially nowadays. And what populates social media? India being filthy, being dirty, being gross, being disgusting. And then when a lot of times when you finally do meet an Indian guy, a lot of times like they're not going to be like, here's the thing. when you're a minority in the world, wherever you go, the only time people are ever gonna fuck with you is if they see you as like a god in whatever you're doing. Either you have to be fuckable as a minority in the world, if you're outside of, not excluding a white man or an attractive white woman, if you're any other race on earth, okay, the only way that they'll immediately accept you is if you're like an extremely good looking person, you look like you can really beat somebody up, or you're like abnormally intelligent or abnormally charismatic or something like that. If you don't fit any of those three, you are immediately cannon fodder to the rest of the world. Is how it is. And the thing is, since Indians tend, their diets don't tend to really promote what they call like Chad like bodies. Like there's nothing about the Indian diet that I know of that really promotes that. They, because there's like any African I've ever met over here, most Africans I've ever met over here were in great shape. Okay, I don't think I've ever met just an out of shape African dude over here, right? But the Indian guys, they'll come and they get that fucking belly pouch, you know what I mean? And then they got like a chubby face. So like, there's nothing about their diets that really promote, physical strength. So they kind of lose out on that. Any professional world, the rumors fly around in there that they just lie all the time just to get out of India. I've witnessed it happen. So it's like by the time it trickles down to the woman of trying to hook up with a guy, like Indian men are literally gonna be like at the bottom of it. Like I said, unless they get to see you and they see, oh wow, you're a good looking Indian dude or whatever, like their immediate thought of India is gonna, okay. The immediate thought of India, for what you say, snide feather, how you say that's going on, that's what it was for African Americans. I would say around pretty much from, I would say in the U.S. It was the same thing for African Americans in North America from roughly the year 2012 and back. In any online profile, they would just put no black men in all capital letters, exclamation points. Nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cared. It's just like it was understood. I clearly remember seeing, ads on any dating site or anything. Oh, they did not care. They would just put no black men in all capital letters. They didn't care. That's what it was like for black people, for black guys in North America. I was, like I said, before the internet really took off and things started to be, before the internet really, because the internet didn't really take off in terms of like, smartphones and these things. I would say it didn't really start to take off till maybe 2015, 16ish, where everybody would have a smartphone to get on these apps. But before then, it was that there, because back then, it was a weird situation for me growing up as a kid because I grew up in the suburbs. I spent most of my time in the suburbs. I would go to the hood for summer camps, but I spent most of my time in the suburbs. So it was a really just weird time. I can't even tell you how black people were seen growing up because I was just in it. So I didn't have that awareness. I mean, there was always like, some kid who would call me, a nigger or something like that. That would happen, but it wasn't like a world destroying thing. The DeMarco effect. Yeah, I tell you what. Email me right now, and I'll send you my I'll try to send you a Zoom link if I can figure it out. Let me open my phone. I never even look at emails. I'm so bad at this shit. Let's see. Email me, and then I'll send you a Zoom link. I got my phone open, my email open. I'm keeping my eye on it. I'm gonna sit it right here on this lamp. When other races go through oppression, they always evoke Black Americans. Wait, like I said earlier, like that's the thing that like I've always felt like now the African Americans, I don't think they really realize how much recognition we get for that. Now, again, it's still stuck in this kind of position of like the world wants to like ignore it because nobody wants to like nobody wants to really acknowledge it because the world's been so programmed to just automatically accept white as just like they're just naturally great and all this stuff. Nobody wants to like accept that counter argument. But yeah, I mean it's just the reality. But like I said, in the back end, the African Americans are inevitably kind of pushed to be harder. Whereas like I said, if you were to flip it with the checks, where the majority are the ones sitting around going, "Oh, but we were fucked up and you guys didn't help us out," and the minority was like, "Shut the fuck up." You got an entire country that's just like lazy that doesn't even bathe. I got you. I got it. I just got the email. The market it just came up. You got an entire country that goes that refuses to get higher education, that refuses to build up its own infrastructure. The first chance they get, they're going to leave to go to another country. You got an entire country of people who genuinely refuse to evolve and grow. They're still walking around with that communism mentality that Czech Republic had before. Don't talk to anybody, don't trust anybody because you might come up missing. These kind of things, right? They've never developed and grown past it, right? Hold on. So let me go to the. You go to my laptop email. Wait, no, can I do it? It's just so long since I've done this shit, man. Oh, I know I'm gonna do this the longer, complicated way, but this is the only way I can. Okay, so let me make a Zoom link real fast if I can remember how to do it. One platform to connect. Host. Let's do that. Oof. It's asking me for shit. Maybe I should have just signed in with my Google shit. Oh fuck it, put me on it back now. Yeah, here we go. Sign in now. I gotta install it. I hope I have to reboot. I'm installing it right now. I thought I could just do it. Well, can't you do a Teams? Maybe I can send you a Teams meeting instead, because I know I could do Teams just straight through the browser, because that's how I teach. I thought I could just do Zoom in the web browser. Let me do it Microsoft Teams. That's ridiculous. Oh, so much shit going on. Get a code this time. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to. Okay, just sent the code now. I'm just gonna send you I'm gonna email you this as soon as I get this shit together. What's it? Jesus Christ. And that's exactly how Zoom lost like all their bases with that. I was watching some video where they were talking about how Zoom like really had that market like no, I think it was Skype. They said Skype had that market on lock and then it completely lost all of it. Okay. Invite. I hope I do this right because I'm probably gonna fuck it up. It says invite via link. Invite link copy. So I'm sending you the email right now. I'm sending you the link. I hope I did this right. I'm probably gonna fuck it up. I forgot how to do this shit online because I don't because I quit teaching online because I hate teaching online. Black men were taboo for 2000. Then other races, women had to sneak and deal with black men. Yeah, yeah. It was a severe it was pretty bad. But yeah, so yeah, back to this woman up here real fast. Like when I seen this, like I remember like that woman. I remember that over, and I remember like just having a really poor outlook on life with like I knew I didn't like that, but it was like I knew that's all I had to deal with. Like I, you know what I mean? So like I when I was a kid, I knew that there was a low chance I would ever have a relationship or get married with a woman because I just wasn't. There was nothing about that is like at the core like exciting like as a woman. Now, where I was gonna go next is where's the I got so much stuff open now. Trying to keep okay. So wait, this is activity. Okay, so it's a join. Okay. Hello? Oh wait, I can call you. Audio call. Let's use the regular allow wow. What the Okay, I'm calling you now. It says sorry we couldn't connect you. I keep trying to call. Okay, I don't know what's going on because I keep trying to call and it keeps saying, and I see I have a green mark on my account, but yours has yours has a an X. It says I think it says you're not online, but it says let me see if I can you. So okay, real quick, I'm gonna get this out and I'm gonna check back on that message in a minute because I want to. Oh shit! You just wrote back. Okay. Okay. So where's that? So the thing is, what's that? Is that working? Hello.
Hello?
What's up, man?
What's going on, big dog?
Chilling. We figured it out.
Hey, it's cool, bro. I've been watching you, and I might sound crazy, but my name DeMarco. I mean, it's actually nice to officially talk to you for real.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, I've been watching you since I'm 23 now, so I think I've been watching you I think since I've been like 17 or something like that.
Nice. Jesus.
So I've been learning like some of the stuff that you've been talking about, cause I started doing YouTube 9 months ago, right? So, and I think what you watch also can influence your perspective of how you view life. So I was watching this guy that was a millionaire, and when you watching people that's millionaires, especially on YouTube, and they successful, they say stuff that if you really think about it, everybody can do. Like they'll say something like, "I don't understand how everybody is broke," or "I don't understand how y'all can't get no women," or stuff. Like they'll say stuff like that. But then when you actually think about it, you got to understand like everybody can't do the same thing that you can do. That's why there's a percentage of. That's why it's a 1%. That's the such thing as the 1%.
Sure.
So if everybody can do what they can do, then everybody would have did it.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying?
Of course. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, but I just want to give you credit though, because I have learned a lot from your videos, like about college and about different countries and stuff like that. I have learned a lot because this is the stuff that you say with your channel is stuff that people typically don't say, and it's because of that monetization thing with YouTube. But I do want to give you your credit though. I just wanted to call and tell you that I rock with you. I'll be watching your videos when I be at work because I work for the post office. So I just watch you when I'm at work, and it'll be funny though, cause I can't play your videos around everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's why. Cause you be saying some stuff that sound crazy, even though it's the truth. But you can't it's just the language in which you talk. It's like hell, nah, I can't watch this dude around everybody, but I can definitely watch him to learn.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. That sounds like a good job. How you like at the post office?
It's cool. So my whole plan with the post office is to keep working here. Is just to keep a job with benefits. Because one thing that I do know in the world is you need some form of benefits. And if you paying out of pocket for it, it's different. Like, so at the post office, we have this thing called OPM, right? And that's the healthcare provider, right? You can look on the app and you can see how much it's going to be for health insurance. And I think when I looked on the app, it was like $50 every 2 weeks out of the paycheck. But then when I looked at how much it was without being a postal federal worker, it was $377 a month for one person.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, first I was like, nah, I'm not finna get that. $377 every month. Like 174, because it said $174 every 2 weeks they were gonna take out. So I kind of see where, like, do you remember that video? Not the video, but do you remember when that dude had killed the CEO or whatnot?
Yeah.
Right. So when I first seen it, like I thought it was like he was tripping. Like, and I might sound crazy though, but this is stuff I can't say on my videos. But I thought that I was like tripping. I was like, why is everybody so upset about healthcare? Like, that's not really a big deal because I'm still young. I'm 23. So there's definitely stuff that I do have to learn, and I do understand it. But when I seen it happen, I was like, everybody tripping about healthcare. Healthcare ain't that important. Until I realized when I went to the hospital and I got in a car accident a few years ago, I had to think back, and I believe like my hospital bill was like $786, and I was only there for like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what they did though? Look, I went to the hospital. They asked me, "Hey, sir, is there anything going on with you? Or is you fine? Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." And they was like, "Your back or your neck? Are you feeling any pains there?" I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm cool." And they was like, "Okay, well, you're free to go." And I was like, "Cool." And they was like, "Do you have insurance?" And I said, "Yes, I have insurance." And I gave them State Farm. And then after State Farm sent me the bill after they paid for it, just to show me the breakdown. I think it was like $700.
Yeah.
And I was like, how the hell was it $700? And I was there for like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't check nothing. They did like the I think they used a machine to see if I was fine. But then after that, there's like, yeah, everything is fine with you. You know, you should be good. If you have any other things, come back to the office and get a checkup. And that's what made me think. I'm like, yeah, that's the frustration of some people. And that's why I will keep, because you asked me about the post office. That's why I will make sure to keep a job like this, because it's a federal job.
Yeah.
To where I can be protected in forms of with benefits. Because so far on YouTube, you know how much money I made in the last, I've been monetized for 4 days. You know how much money I made on YouTube?
How much?
I made $1.93. So if you want a new car and if you want a new car, I can get you a new car. My $1.93. Like, what do you want? You want me to buy you new? You want do baby Kratos need some food? I think I can buy him a year worth supplies of food with $1.93.
Hey, but I tell
Yeah.
you, with the YouTube thing, the money, like YouTube pays so low that it's like it's just not even worth it. I don't think it's even worth it to monetize it. It's because you gotta cut yourself, you gotta censor yourself. I think you'd be better off. Like my opinion would be like, well, it doesn't even matter. Well, it's not about me. So you've been monetized for 4 days.
Yeah, now I'm gonna tell you what the good part is though. So
Okay.
the good part is I do know on YouTube there you can make a good amount of money from it. Cause so far it's progress, right? I look at it like
Yeah.
a business. So I look at my YouTube channel like a business. I've been wanting to do it for so long that when I started doing it, I tried to find a niche. Like 23-year-olds, you don't really see a 23-year-old talking about, some politics stuff that's going on, or just current news or relationship stuff that's going on in the world. You don't see them setting up a camera and then sit down and talking about it, right? You would expect that to be like a 30-year-old or somebody like Kevin Samuels up to that age and speaking to men about women and how to be around women and how to operate around women, right? You would be like, I can understand that from a 30 or 40-year-old, but a 23-year-old don't know shit about women, right? And that's what you would think. So in my videos, you would hear sometimes of what you said in some of the videos. Like I have a video with this guy, right? It's my last video.
Okay.
I think it came out 2 days ago, where this guy, he ended up talking about, yeah, I love my wife, and this dude moved in with his wife, and she was cheating on him, and he knew it, but he wanted to look through her phone. And I said, what would be more admirable for the guy to do is for him to leave her and not say nothing back to her. Don't call her, don't text her, just leave. Because he was like telling her, well, I can't get all of my stuff and drive back over to where I lived at. And the woman was like, in her face, she was like, she don't care.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I learned, because I also give this example. Like I tell people on my channel too. I don't know if you said this or not, but I think you might have said it. Where you were saying like, if there's two ways to go, and you with a woman, right? And you sit there and say, hey, babe, where are we going? Do we go left or do we go right? Because I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know, because if we go left, then it might be wrong. But then if we go right, it might be right. But I don't know if it's the right way. I think you said something along the lines of a woman don't want to be the leader.
No.
So if the guy, even if you do fuck up and make the wrong decision, she'll rather that be the case than she be with somebody that's keep on asking her,
Yeah.
what's the best thing to do?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
mean, so yeah.
when it finally really hit me that that's what it was, right? I remember when I first come. Well, no, this is when I came back to Czech Republic because I went back to the U.S. for a while, and I was dating this one girl who was Czech, right? And I don't know where the fuck I am, and we're walking, and she's expecting me to tell, to lead on where to go, and she knows I don't know where the fuck I am, and she does, right? And that's when it finally hit me, like, wow, like this is like women, like they don't want to fucking lead at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't blame them, bro, because look, if you looking at the world from a woman's perspective, the world is a scary place for them.
Yeah.
Like they don't, and this is so different because I had grandparents that was married for like 72 years, right?
Okay.
So the only person that they was married to was each other. I think they got married as early as like 18 years old. And I used to talk with my grandparents and stuff. And one thing I learned was women back then, they weren't going outside in the nighttime, like going to clubs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't know if something would happen to them. They was scared of, like, thinking a man was going to do something to them. So they just stay home.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, they also say, well, that it shouldn't be like that for women. But when you actually pay attention to, like, I would say animals and everything like that, you don't see a woman out by herself when it comes to also animals.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing, and this is gonna sound kind of messed up, but I don't even think it's really about like I don't because okay, if you leave it to women, women will just always take the easiest route out in terms of social acceptance and what people just believe and leave them alone. Like, but long story short, they will always take the easy route out. I don't think. Okay, here's a how do I phrase this? I don't think they're so much afraid of like getting raped or something like that. I don't even think they're really afraid of getting killed. I think it's just like how you said earlier. I think it's just like a general just fear of the world and having essentially having to be a leader in a tough spot.
Yeah,
The,
yeah, because I grew up with so part of my life, which is I don't think I would ever even talk about this on my actual channel or whatnot, um, because this is a live stream. But part of my life, I grew up with my dad and my mom, right? But it was mainly we lived with our mom for like the first, I would say, 12 years of my life, and we was evicted like 3 times by the time I was 15 to my mama,
mm-hmm,
right? And but when you really think about this, and I know people in the live stream listening, my dad was paying my mama child support money.
mm-hmm,
So for 15 years, my dad was paying my mama child support money, and she was gambling the money. So as a kid, so this is what we would have to do. Now, can you imagine? So imagine you're a kid, right? Imagine somebody come up knocking to the door, and that's the landlord. He want the rent money.
mm-hmm,
So your mama know it's the landlord. So
mm-hmm.
she tells you, tell him I'm not here.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what she used to tell us to do. So we'd walk up, as a kid, we didn't know what we was doing, but we knew we just knew to follow our mama,
Mm-hmm,
right? So follow my mom is go listen to what mama say. So mama say go tell the landlord that she not here. So once you do that too much times, the landlord gonna have to take some type of action.
yeah.
And there was one time me and my sister, we was 15 years old. Uh, we was going to school, and we told our mama to drop us off at the bus stop. She didn't know me and my sister went back inside of that old house that was evicted. So all they did was they locked up everything. Have you ever seen a red box like the big garbage dumpster? Like one of those?
I, you mean like where they how they just like throw out like when people kind of move out and leave shit there and they just kind of like throw shit out in it like old beds
Yeah.
and okay. Yeah.
So they had that outside of our park, outside of the house. And me and my sister, we before they told us we couldn't go back in our house no more. Me and my sister left the window open because we knew we wanted to come back and get some stuff. Because what we had there was we had some coats that my dad bought. We had a bunch of games. I think we had a gaming system that we had there too. So me and my sister took a plastic bag, like a big plastic bag. I had one. She had one. We climbed through the window and we put the stuff in the bags, and then we left out the door, and we brought it to school, and we had our teacher hold our stuff for us, and the teachers holded it for us, and then we got back on the bus with our stuff. So now we had our coats and some of our clothes and our games, right? So I say all of that to say, my mama, she kept taking the more convenient route for herself.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't necessarily about us as kids. She was more on the end of, I need to live my life, I need to have fun, and I'm focused on me. And if I'm not a good parent, then I can use that excuse that, I'm a woman, so I can try to have some type of, I don't know what I was doing type of thing, or I had an addiction, or I had a problem. My mama would use that. So I learned very quickly that when it comes to a woman leading a household, especially with kids in it,
Yeah.
like, that's probably not going to end up well for the kids. Statistically speaking, that's also true too.
Yeah.
So that was the situation where I learned. And then we moved with our dad. We never had to worry about rent. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is the coolest feeling. So we never had to worry about rent not being paid. We never had to worry about not going to school on time. We never had to worry about not having no food to eat. Right? We never had to worry about nothing with our dad. If anything, with our dad, he was like, "Hey, man," because this is how my dad talk. He like, "Hey, man, if y'all need anything, just let me know. Like, if y'all need some new shoes or y'all need some clothes or something, y'all better speak up." But as kids, like, when we was coming up, I think we was just so traumatized that we never wanted to tell our dad we needed anything. So he would get mad sometimes. He like, "Man, why you ain't tell me y'all need some new shoes, man?" And he'd order us like 2 or 3 pair of shoes. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this is different."
Yeah. Yeah, man. And it's now since I'm a dad, like I imagine going through that scenario, when y'all was going through the whole eviction process, like if your dad, I guarantee you, he already seen that coming out of her.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
And he was talking about it he had to talk about it with his friends or his dad or whatever.
No, my dad was actually private with it. He didn't tell nobody about it. My dad is me and my dad. We starting to have a lot better of a relationship. Like a lot better of a relationship, and it's because I understand where he's coming from. And I think that's just the thing about dads. Like, I don't know if it'll be the same with your son, but y'all get it harder with everything,
Yeah.
because even if you're expected to be the leader in every situation, even if that's not the road that you want to take, right? I just think that's naturally a man thing to be the leader. But I just think as dads, y'all have it harder because y'all tell us the stuff that we don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when you say, look, when you say something, like when you say something, it'll sound mean. But then you go back to mommy and she'll try to validate my feelings instead of saying what you're saying. So it's the thing where we get babyfied by our mom too at a young age. And so when dad come to us and say some real shit, we like, "Oh yeah, you mean." Sounding like a kid. Like, yeah, you just mean. You mad about something, or uh you just don't trust nobody. But then I actually thought about the lessons my dad was telling me, and I'm like, wait, so that was true. That was true. That was true. Damn, that was true as well. And then I'm like thinking, I'm like, so why was I not listening to my dad 100% when I was a kid?
Yeah. Because mommy was there.
Because my dad was telling me a lot of stuff. Like, I'll give you a story too, because I know you watching a video request too. So when I was 19, right,
Hmm.
uh, I had my first girlfriend.
Okay.
So my dad, he would let her come over. Cool. All I had to do was ask my dad, can she come over? And we were straight. So I used to ask him, hey, can she come over? Can she come over? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Once he started saying yeah too much, I just started bringing her over without asking him. I'd be like, yeah, dad, she coming over. And I can see at first he was like, hold on now. Like he was kind of shocked and surprised that I just did that.
Hmm.
So then we got to a point to where I was having her come over through the night, right? So she would come over through the nighttime, and I would, take her back home at like 3 in the morning or like 5 o'clock in the morning. So we'd try to get up before everybody. And eventually got to a point to where me and my dad, my dad started paying attention to that. So this whole time, I'm thinking my dad didn't know. I'm like, yeah, my dad's slow. He ain't figuring out that she been over here and she's sleeping over and spending nights. Imagine, look, we got alarms, and my dad, I think the alarms has a motion sensor too in the house.
Yeah.
So it knew where we was at. Like, so I would try to leave out the garage thinking that the garage wasn't alerting my dad when it was open. So my dad would know,
Yeah.
right? So on November, a few years ago, this was Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So I went to go see my mom for Thanksgiving, go spend some time with her, with my siblings. And I came back, and me and my dad ended up getting into this big fight. And my dad basically told me, get out. I don't want you here no more. And it took me a while to process what was the real reason why. So I was saying, yeah, my dad just don't want to see me win. I was saying all type of stuff like I don't like my dad, I hate my dad, and I don't want to be like him. And after a year of paying rent, I get what he was saying. All he was telling me was to be respectful. It's not your household, so don't walk around here like you the boss. Don't walk around here telling me what you can or ain't gonna do. Don't walk around here trying to tell your brothers and everybody else what to do because it's not your household. This is my household. And at first, I thought he was, like I said, I thought he was being mean. But then I actually put logical thought into it when I was out in the real world by myself. The first year, I was like, yeah, I'll give my dad a sin. So now me and my dad talk about it all the time, and we laugh about it. Because my dad was telling me throughout that whole time, don't start acting crazy now since you got a girlfriend. And I didn't think that was going to start happening. I'm like, yeah, I know, I understand. But that's just one of the lessons that I kind of learned. So, like, even with you, I know you don't know me, and I just, asked to have a call with you, but just based off of the stuff that you say on YouTube, I can say that you're not a real mentor in my life because I don't know you, but I would say you're like a mentor in my life based off of your videos because I look at it and I can see you see not all sides but most of the times you see like more. Well, I would say all the times you see more than what people actually think about the situation. Like you can talk about a topic, or you can talk about a 30-second video about a topic for like 2 hours because you just so intellectual, But that's all though. Like that's how I learned that dads are definitely hated at the beginning and loved at the end because I think dads actually resemble life.
Yeah.
In the best way that you can.
Sure, man. Yeah, like in most, I mean, there's always going to be a scumbag here and there, but generally, man, like your father is really gonna love you more than your mother for real. Like in terms of like preparing you for like a father's main goal is to make sure every father, his main goal is to make sure that when he dies, which there's a good chance he's gonna die before you, when he
Yeah.
dies, that you will be 100% okay in the world because of what he put into you. How to act, behave, money, these kind of things, right? That's because I tell my spouse all the time, like it's not because me and my spouse we fell out in the kitchen because my son got mad and it started hitting her, right? He started like he's laying on the ground. He's like getting mad and he starts hitting her. So I jump on him. He's 3 now. I jump on. I said, hit her again, hit her again. I'm like, yeah, not like yelling like Marine Corps yelling, but I'm like louder. And so he's like crying. And she's like, Wendell, stop you being mean to him. You didn't have to yell at him. He just got the lesson. I was like, no, he just got the lesson. You know what I mean? Like you don't hit your own mama, right? And I said, look, when he's 20, when he's like 20, 25, he's gonna be happy. He's gonna thank me for doing that when he was 3 years old. But moms, they don't see it. Moms, they just care about the emotions and whatever the quick fix. But your dad is gonna be there to make sure that you're gonna be ready for the world. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I was having some car problems, and my dad was like, he asked me how much money I had, and this is a while ago, and I lied about it. And he came back like a little while after that, and he asked me, he said, Mark, like, man, how much money you actually got? And I told him, he's like, damn, man, why the hell would you even lie about it, man? He's like, I was trying to see if I can help you out or give you some money to help you with something that you got going on. He's like, man, what the hell wrong with you? And I literally just had to sit there and be quiet. Because I don't know, like, the thing was really, I thought lying, for some reason, I equated lying to him would make him think that I'd had everything under control. But then I had to think, like, and this was a while back when I was thinking about this, I'm like, you're not gonna be rich, especially like in your 20s, you might be the brokest that you're gonna be. So my dad, he figured that I didn't have any money, so that's why he was asking me. He told me that he was gonna give me some to help me out with whatever I needed to, be paid or whatnot. And I was like, oh, okay. My bad. He was like, man, from now on, man, stop that lying shit, man. He's like, start telling the truth. Like, if something going on with you, I'm here for a reason. He's like, nah. He's like, and I know you don't want to ask me for nothing. Like, I know you never asked me for no money, or you don't want to do that because you got your own independent little thing going on. But it's like, man, it's like it don't make sense to put yourself in trouble, like, or and not having no money, because what if something happened to you tomorrow? And you ain't got no savings for it. And I told you, asked you how much money you had, you wanted to lie. And I literally had to sit there for like 20 minutes and not say shit because he gave me the talk. And so if he asks me any financial questions, I just tell him straight up. I don't try to beat around the bush or say, oh, this and oh, that. I don't try to do none of that. But it's just, man, it's so much stuff that I be picking up from your videos. Like, even with my job at USPS, there's this guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but I met somebody at my job, and he was telling me how he wanted to be a millionaire. And I don't talk to people at work. I just go to work and do my job. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire. And I was like, that's what's up, bro. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire by being a supervisor. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because I had to think. I'm like, bro, I didn't even say that to him. All I said was, that's what's up, bro. Good job. And he keep on trying to talk to me. And so then once he kept trying to talk to me, I was like, okay, so let me ask you this question. I said, what do you do outside your life besides work? He said, nothing. I was like, you ain't got no hobbies, none that you like to do? He was like, no, I ain't got time for that. I work all the time. And I said, okay, that's cool. But like all I say is, that's cool. I say that's what's up, but that's cool at work. But in the back of my head, I always have a thought, because when I look at people at jobs, they have no identity. Their identity is the job. Like a mailman, people that's a mailman are just the mailman.
Yeah.
That's what people know you for. They don't know you for Henry, or Michael or DeMarco like me. They don't know you for that. They know you as the mailman. So a lot of people, when they're working these jobs, they trying to impress everybody, and they get so happy with, oh, they know me as the mailman. But my whole thing is, I don't really care about that. And I don't know if it's because I'm 23 years old, but I don't really care to be super proud of working at a job. Like saying I'm the mailman. My whole thing is I want to put myself in a position to where me and my kids and whomever I'm with down the line can be taken care of. So that's why. And I also want to spend time with family. So like, my job just gave me a check as well. It was for over $500 for going to a different state, or a different state, right? And all I'm doing is I just put that money up, and I told my job I had something really, really important that I have to do October. They don't know what it is, but all I'm gonna do is go out there in Chicago for a week and spend time with my little cousins, and have fun with them.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah. I do appreciate that, though. I appreciate you answering the call. I'm gonna go ahead and keep letting you do what you gotta do. But from time to time, I'll definitely want to update you with YouTube about how everything is going because I I have I have 350 something videos, I think in a span of 9 to 10 months on YouTube.
That's a lot. Okay.
And I
Yeah.
don't know if the statistics is still true, but last time I checked, I believe it was like 5% of YouTube channels was monetized out of all of the channels.
Hmm.
So I literally have 1,005 subscribers on YouTube, and I have what 351 videos, and I'm monetized in 10 months, and I'm definitely proud of myself because I can see
Yeah.
with YouTube is going to bring a lot of other stuff in for me. That's why I told you. Remember when you asked me about the post office?
Hmm.
That's why I said that I'll always keep a job like that for benefits.
Hmm.
Because I don't talk about me working at the post office on YouTube or on TikTok or on social media. I keep my private life private, and I just whenever I'm doing a video, that's when I just talk about what's going on.
Hmm. Yeah, just keep going, man. Just keep going.
Yeah, $1.93 gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be a couple thousand a month.
Just keep going, man. Like just whatever you do, just don't close the YouTube channel. Even if you just don't want to make a video, just leave it. You never know what happens, in these worlds, in social media.
Yeah, because it's one thing that you used to say. What did you used to say? Just keep doing something
Yeah.
outside of work. Isn't that what you said on one of your live streams like years ago?
Yeah, keep moving.
Yeah,
Just keep
and your
moving.
reason was because of what?
Well, yeah, a few reasons. The reason I'm thinking of now is because one, you never know which thing is. One reason because you'll never know which thing is going to eventually bite, right? And the other thing is it keeps you from becoming like those people at work who like their identity is the job because they don't have anything else. And once you end up like that, that's a real hard thing to dig out of. Once you become one of those guys who just goes to work just to go drink beer and watch football on Sunday, then go back to work all week just to go, just to drink beer and watch football. That's a hard hole to dig out of, man. Hard hole,
Yeah.
difficult.
So, is there anything? And I have a question. Is there anything that you would recommend for, I would say, a 23-year-old, like in this lifetime? Like anything that you recommend for them to try to look into or read into to understand life a little bit more?
Well,
I know it's a broad question. It's a very broad question.
well, you already got a good relationship with your father. You can look back and see the reality of getting evicted with your mother. So you have a good you have a great foundation there of it. I mean, you don't have to hate your mother, but you can at least see what actually happened versus the sugar coated, bullshit she'll probably feed you. So you
No,
have
cause
a
yeah, cause mama was the victim in all of the situations when you ask
Of course.
her.
Yeah. But then I'm not saying that you shouldn't hate your mother or dislike her, but just realize the reality of what happened. That's
Yeah, I still love my mom. I still love my mom. I still love her. It's something that I have to get over though. Is like I do. Okay, so you remember how I told you I keep my private life private and my public YouTube is just where I talk about topics,
yeah.
right? So I know the people in the comments are also, I mean, in your live stream are also hearing what I'm saying too. But I battle with thinking, I battled with crying a good amount uh, when it came to my mom when I was coming up as a teenager because I would think, oh shit, my mom don't love me and all of that. I battle with that a lot, and it's still something that I still have to get over is the fact that my mom wasn't who I wanted her to be. So I am, doing a lot better, in my life just now. I'm learning to accept things a lot more for what it is. That's what I'll say.
Hmm.
Because the hate, I never hate my mom, but the thing is, I do love my mom, and I want her to do better. I just I'm just pretty much accepting that things may change, but more than likely things are not gonna change. With her. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but you were saying something. You were saying I'm 23. You said I'm starting to, see the, realities of life from getting evicted. You said I'm having a relationship with my dad. Uh, you was gonna say something else, or did I interrupt you?
Um, so I don't know, like, I definitely don't know, like, the inner workings of, like, your daily life, where where you live in, how, the money situation. Can you do college or not? Or if you're even interested in college, maybe not. I don't know. I think at this point you pretty much got it from my perspective, which it could be twisted, because I'm 40 now, man. My time of you know I'm looking back on my time when I was
Yeah,
23.
you an old man.
Yeah, I'm old man now. But it's like, I would say that it sounds like you got a pretty good handle on it. You just gotta, at this point, just stick with it. Like, for example, the friend of mine, I was talking about him earlier, the Russian friend. He's 25, 26. When I met him, he was working, and he was working in this shitty English school. And I told him when I first met him, I thought he was too good to be working there. But I told him he's just going through a rough patch right now, but he's gonna get his shit together. When I hung out with him Monday, the first thing he told me, he goes, "Wendell, guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, I just got a great job at some, I don't even know the name of the company, but he got it, he got a real job that's amazing. And I told him, he goes, yeah, and you know what he said? He goes, "Wendell, you was the one who told me years ago that that I was that that he was better than where he was at." And then he said, and I'm starting to think I was the only one that was probably telling him that. But yeah, with
Oh,
you,
really?
back to you, I think you've got the foundation there. I think at this point you're pretty much in his spot where he was when I met him. You just got to stick with what you're doing. Sounds like you got a good logical head on your shoulders to see things clearly. I don't see. I mean, if you ask me anything you could add, I would just add in maybe trying to philosophy never hurts. But the thing is, depending on where you go, philosophy could be extremely boring and dry, or it could be amazing. It could be a really amazing thing. You have to find a philosopher that fits you.
Okay, because I know you like Alan Watts a lot.
Yeah,
Based on your live streams, you always talk about Alan Watts.
I would rate. He worked for me. Then I kind of drifted. Well, I was always into like Nietzsche and them. I probably butchered his name, but I was always into other philosophers. But he was the one that really grabbed me and was like on the same level, the same like thought process. But you have to find one that fits for you, and I there's no way I can tell you that. You have to find it for your own on your own.
Okay, yeah, because I'm a definitely look into that then. But yeah, it's been a lot of stuff though. Life is good for me, I would say. Life is good. But when I was doing YouTube, there was always my moments. I think I had maybe two moments when I was doing YouTube where I was like, "What the hell am I doing this for?"
Mm-hmm.
And then it might sound crazy, right? But I have a little cousin. She is 8 years old. She my baby. I have a cousin that's 12, right? She's about to be 13. Right? They both sisters. Uh, but I started YouTube because in the future I want to give them an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in order to do things that I wasn't able to do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know exactly what that was. And I wrote about it in my journal. I can read back and understand what it was, but I don't know exactly what it was, but I really just started YouTube just so I can make a lot of money and I can give them an opportunity in life to where they can just do whatever they like, just extra stuff that they wanted to do. And the more I think about it, it's like I also started it for my little cousin, which is he's more like my brother also. He's about to be 18.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started this so I can start some type of movement or motion for them to understand that in life, if you want to just go out and do something, you just got to get up and do it. There's no perfect way to do one thing in life.
Yeah.
So the only thing I don't like is when you're listening to, I guess, mentors, or I guess you can say like some of the motivational speakers. They don't necessarily tell you. They try to tell you exactly how to do one thing, and I don't think that ever works
Yeah.
because this person might be shy. but this person might be outgoing. So it might be easy for you to tell this dude, hey man, go up and talk to the girl, bro. Stop being a hoe. Stop
Yeah.
being scary.
Yeah.
But
Take the
then you
punches.
got the guy that's shy. How are you gonna approach that with him? You can't tell. It's like with parents, you can't tell both of the kids how the same way to get to the same destination, because they
Mm-hmm.
might not. One of your kids, might not listen well, but one of your kids might listen to everything that you say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess I just started, and I just kept going. Like I never quit. But I did have two moments where I was kind of like, damn, what the hell am I? I'm not making no progress with it. Because there was times during my 10 months of YouTube where I'll have a video that got 5 or 6 views.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, only 6 people watched it. But then when I thought about that number, it might sound crazy. If I had 6 people watching me do a video right now, recording it, and they was watching it and they, maybe liked it or commented on it, that would be a big idea. That'd be a big thing for me.
Yeah. That's five. That's
So,
5 people. That's 5 people in the world somewhere. Think about how crazy that is in reality. There's 5 people spread out in random places in the world that randomly found your video and clicked on it, and then clicked on it.
yeah.
That's crazy to think about, like the reality. Like okay, like right now. Okay, to put it in a better perspective and how amazing that is, right? Go on the street right now and just start talking out loud. And try to get 5 people to come up and listen to you. There's
That's a
going
good example.
right, there's going completely out of their way to go do something else, but they stopped and paid you some attention. Right? That would you see what I'm saying? That's crazy. Like
Yeah. I just think the world is like they got their ways of making us think they're big, that you're gonna always need to do it big.
yeah.
I think that's the world though, because social media is not about right or wrong. It's not about morals and being good to people. I think social media is just about the numbers. It's just like AI. That's why AI is also a thing that's taking jobs, because it's not about if people feel good about it. It's about the company saving money.
Yeah.
So and because I remember when I was like 16 or 17, uh, I think Walmart in my general area, they started installing like self checkouts,
Mm-hmm.
and some of these places like Target started having self checkouts. So I would go in and I would see the self checkout machines. And I don't know if you know about the self checkout machines in America, but it's super, super loud. So if you scan an item, it'll say eggs 7.49, like super loud, to
Okay.
where, I mean, in some of them you can't even turn it down.
Okay.
And I think it also, if a payment don't go through on a machine, it'll say payment not accepted, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll say it loud. So on a machine, and I started going inside of places, and I was like, there's not a lot of people here today. There's only like 2 or 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to pay attention, and I'm like, yeah, the world do not care about people having jobs. It's all about AI.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
they got that over here, but they don't talk out loud. I think I vaguely remember that in Target, which I never shopped at Target. And for some reason, I shopped there a couple times in my city, and those were loud. But I pretty much left the U.S. not long after that. But they don't do it over here, at least in Czech Republic. I've never seen one that's like that would tell you payment declined and like read off what you just scanned. I just bought some shit
yeah,
today, and it doesn't do that in any
yeah,
of
they
them.
do it out here. If you scan in any item, or if they, if you scan in any item and say the item in it and say how much money it is. So I mean, even if you did try to, which I wouldn't recommend stealing, but even if you did try to steal something, they have a camera pinned down to each of the self checkout machines, to where
Mm.
even if they think you didn't scan the item, it'll not let you keep scanning your items until a cashier come by and review the video.
Oh, okay.
So
Mm.
I mean, because even that happened to me before. I scanned the item and I put it in a different bag, because that bag it was gonna be too heavy to carry for one arm. And so the machine thought I tried to steal an item, and I told the lady, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you're fine. Don't worry about it. It happens all the time."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let me go ahead and get out of here. I just gotta call my girl because I forgot to. I told her I was gonna wake her up for her appointment, and she just texted me, "You didn't wake me up." So, because I took a nap.
All right.
I took a nap. I told her I was gonna wake up at 12:30 for her appointment, and I took a nap because I ain't had work today after I did a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So I'm about to call her and see if she at least woke now, even though I think she missed the appointment though. Yeah, my name DeMarco. I know you said your name is it's a window, right?
Yeah. I got your email and it has it written, and I think it's in here too. So, yeah, I got it. I won't say your last name, but I got it right here.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
Cool,
Have
man.
a good day. It was nice chatting with you. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, you too, man. Yeah, it was great talking to you. I'll let you go, man. Hey, just
Yes,
email
sir.
me. You
Have a
got my
good.
email, so just write me anytime.
Okay, bet.
Okay. I'll see you.
Have a good one.
Bye. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that was a great conversation. I wasn't expecting I was expecting it to go that smoothly. You know, that was a great conversation. Not that I even knew what to expect, but you just when you speak to somebody you've never spoken to, you just never know, what you're gonna get kind of thing. But yeah, that was a great conversation. Definitely gonna keep in touch with him for sure. 23 too, man. Like I wasn't expecting. That's what I was meaning to say. I wasn't expecting that level of conversation from someone who's 23. I'm a fan, dude. I am a fan of the younger generation, man. I'm a huge fan of you guys, like, because you guys have so much access to so much more information than I had when I was 20 and 23. And then on top of that, you have access to people who can, access to information of people who can speak and, be well articulated, and you can incorporate, you can learn from that. When I was 23, we didn't have that, so people just didn't really, to hear somebody talk out loud like this, in any type of comfortable conversation was a really rare thing when I was coming up. So I'm just like, I'm just a fan of like all the younger generation especially when it comes to this. Like I said earlier when I started the video, I feel sorry for the younger generations for this type of shit, for having to deal with. I feel sorry for the 20-year-olds now who have to deal with the 20-year-old girls now. I really feel, or just any age woman. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. I have a lot of sympathy for you guys with that. But yeah, back to like the intellect and the even just to generally say the potential of intellect for the next up and coming is just completely mind blowing to me, man. It's completely mind blowing. And I made a vow to myself to never turn into that old guy who 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 I made a vow to myself that when I got old, to never automatically think I know more than someone else just because I'm older than them. Because I had a lot of that. That was pretty much the way of life, up until pretty much this generation. Like, before there was such things as Google where you can fact check things and stuff like that. It was a really dumb thing that we used to do as humans. If somebody was older than us, then they were just always right, kind of thing, and you just always immediately respected them without merit just because they were older, right? And it was it was a really dumb system that we had throughout humanity until like 20 years ago. So I made a vow to myself back then I would never turn in, to that old guy who thinks he just knows more than someone who's younger, just immediately knows more than somebody who's younger than him. Because I was saying to someone, I can't where I, oh, this I was hanging out with the Russian friend, his friend, he was from Ukraine. We was hanging out, and I said, this is gonna sound real creepy, and it does sound creepy when I say it out loud. Think about it, but I said I would love to work at a high school just to talk to the kids, right? Now that sounds like some Chris Hansen shit, but it sounds creepy as fuck. But it's the honest truth. I would love to work at a high school to just hear their perspectives on the world, on daily life, on how they deal with friends, how they deal with the internet, the cell phones, and the game. Like, I would just love to teach high school strictly for that reason. Like, I would just give all the kids A's. I want to hear their perspectives. Like I said, when I was 20, I would read like journals of people who were like dying, right? Like people who were terminally ill, and their illness was coming in the next few months. Like I used to want to go work at a hospice. Like I remember I would call hospices trying to go volunteer there, but they would never let you volunteer at a hospice like that, right? Especially if you don't have any training to be in there. But I would like, but my the reason why I would do anything I could to get in a hospice is because I wanted to hear their perspectives on life and what they reflect back on what they should have done and what they could have done and their fears and what made them happy, these kind of what they would do if they could change things and this and that, right? So the next best thing I found was again, I think it was like some article on a it was some website. They kept these articles where they put the people's pictures next to their their statement of what they were saying, and I would just read through those for hours, man. So now it's like now that I'm getting older now, and technology's moved so much further, and there's so much shit out there. Like I want to talk to the kids and understand like where their brains are with shit. Like because I was working with one woman that I teach at the bank. The one I think I mentioned last week. She was in at the MotoGP, the professional motorcycle championship. It was in Brno. And at one time she brought her son in, and her son's like 14, 15, and he could speak English. So we were all talking. She's like 45 and he's 15, 14, 15, something like that. And like just to hear his just like refreshing views on just like rap music. We were talking about Kanye West and we were talking about 50 Cent, and I'm talking back to like Get Rich or Die Trying, and he's talking about some other shit, but we both know 50 Cent. So we're like, I'm trying to like, connect the dots and shit with him, but his perspective and just how he just simplified things was just so amazing to me, man. It was just like incredible. Like just that perspective of just like a kid who was born into Chat GPT or born into AI. Like, you know, the funny thing about human development is this is so right now we can all unanimously agree that when you talk about well, not now, not so much because AI is pretty much shaking up all that. Let's say 5 years ago, if you ask anybody what the future would be, most people talk about time travel, taking a vacation on Mars, these kind of things, right? So let's just say unanimously we can all agree that that an unbelievable future thing to do would be to go to travel to Mars for a holiday, right? Just be like, yeah, I'm going to Mars. I'll see you in a couple months. Toodles, and just hop on a ship and fly to fucking Mars and go. You mean, yeah, we on Mars, drink, and it'd be on Instagram, like drinking up. Yeah, we popping bottles on Mars, bro. We walk around with our champagne glasses on Mars, right? Now let's say that is we all agree that that is the future, right? Now, imagine what the future would look like to a kid who grew up with that as the norm. What would be the future to them, right? And their future, who knows where their brain could go? Who knows what discoveries could have been found by the time that that's a reality, if we even make it there as a species. But let's just say we do, right? Then let's say travel at the speed of light. That's another thing that's just impossible right now for a human to do. Um, then what about a kid who was born into that and that's all they know is traveling at the speed of light? What would be the next jump for them to go, wow, that's impossible, right? See, it's those moments that I find just absolutely amazing. Now, of course, I can't do that now with someone who's 15 years old because I've pretty much been alive in the same period, but it's still interesting to see where their brains go with this stuff. They just automatically take it and just moved on to something else. But yeah, like that's just a beautiful part of just human development. Oh, I forgot. Yo, thank you for donating because I forgot to read off the last one. Thanks, Eric. Let me read the last one off real fast, and I'm gonna read yours, Eric. So another one from Snide Feather says, AD, women so pathetic. They even got beat up by their 2 3-year-old son. My brother said the same thing as he's 4-year-old fighting his mom, and then watch his dad and see if he's going to stop the fight. Yeah, that that's wild, man. But no, the reason why I'm gonna read the next one. I'm gonna read your donation, Eric. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna explain the reason. I told my spouse why I jump on him for doing that. I didn't hit him. I didn't hit him or spank him. When he'll get mad at his mom and then hit her or kick her, right? And I immediately jump on him, like immediately. No matter what I'm doing, I just jump on him, like jump up in his face, like, hit her again, do it again, right? And the reason why that is because if he goes off and thinks it's okay to just do that, right? So when he starts, the mommies will let little boys get away with that because they're little boys and they cute and all that because they're little babies, and they cute. But when that little boy starts turning to a man and all his data banks is remembering, it's okay to hit mommy, but now he's 15. Now she walking around the house scared of him for real, right? And now it's up to him to come up with the conclusions to not hit his mom anymore. But I haven't seen it, but I've known households to where it turned out the bad way. It turned out to where the mom was scared to come home because the kid would beat up the mom, and because the dad was dead or gone or something like that. So the mom was too scared to even come home because she would get beat up by her own kid, right? And then it's just a sense of respect. You just, you just don't hit somebody because you mad at them like that, right? Yeah. Oh, let me read it. Eric, thanks for the $3, man. What's up, AD? Let me pull. What is that? I wonder how it is that you become completely ambivalent to what others think. I think that's the reason why your advice is so keen. Well, okay. Here's the thing. Okay, Eric, thanks for the $3, man. Let me put this. Let me move that. So it's no real good spot to put it. But no. So I think some of it does just kind of come with age, but also since I'm not tied to like a typical job where like you got to start, in a job you can't just talk like this because you get fired, right? It's just the reality, because I say a lot of uncomfortable shit. So when I go out, like it's very common for people to either just like if they're sitting at a table next to me, they'll just get up and move, or some people come and want to talk to me even more about something, right? That's the game of just like kind of letting go of what people think. Because here's the thing, where I really learned it was in dealing with women, right? And I think the by far the best education in life, if you want to really understand how the world works and how the world's going to move, how things you may not be right all the time, but generally have a general solid foundation. The best education, the absolute best education, does not come from a school. It does not come from many elderly people. You can get reassurance on something you were thinking from an elderly person, but the knowledge from exposure, the best education you can get is from whores, prostitutes, brothels. That is because everything that happens that is the core of everything that happens in the world. You can take any other situation that's going on in the world and translate it into the daily workings of a prostitute, hooker, whatever. You can do that, right? So to answer your question, where it comes from to not to at least become less caring is because of this, right? Caring gives you a false sense of certainty. Okay. Caring is nothing but a false sense of certainty. Caring is caring about what others think is giving you a false sense of certainty. Now, there's times when you make it into fights, whatever, right? But here's the thing. caring about other people and trying to assume what somebody else is thinking ends up trapping you, right? Because let's say if there's a woman sitting across the hall from you right now, right? Now, I don't know. This woman may be waiting for a dude to walk up to her and start choking her. I knew a girl like that. I mean, because I remember I was choking her I was with this other black dude from America right when COVID had just started. It was this tall Russian girl. She was a teacher here. She come here as a teacher, and we got to talking about rough sex. And she just wanted men to just start choking her. So I was like, but she was tall. I remember I had to reach up and choke her. We were walking to that big lake, river, whatever river, in Prague. See, that woman over there, she might be craving for a dude to be loud, obnoxious, right? That dude over there, he may be hoping for a conversation. He might be hoping to find somebody who just doesn't care, right? Or he or she may be hoping to find somebody who does care, right? But to burden yourself with trying to assume what they want and then altering how you're going to think and carry yourself in life because of what they might think, that is a completely unnecessary burden. Now, I'm not saying go out and punch people in the face just because you feel like it. Now, that's where I would kind of draw the line. But in the sense of talking like in the world, like that is an unnecessary burden, in my opinion. Now, again, there's people who will run away from you if you try talking to them because for whatever reason. Now the person, let's say it, for example, me and the Russian friend of mine, we sitting on the river drinking some beers, which I rarely ever drink. I only drink when I go out now. And there were some girls behind us, and I remember they got up and left because I was talking about something. I can't remember what it was. And I'm loud and I speak very clearly. I speak like Netflix to them, so they understand what I say. Now, here's the thing. Those girls could have left for who knows what reason. Maybe the one girl actually, maybe her friend could have really liked me, but she left because her friend's feelings got hurt. Who knows? I have no way of knowing. I have no way of knowing. And is it really my place to put that burden onto me because she's feeling like that? No. That is not my burden. That's her burden, but that's not my burden. Now, if she doesn't like it, she can get mad, she can yell at me, she can cuss me out, whatever, but that's still her burden, right? Now, and just as fast as those two women got up and left, they could have been completely in love with me, came and sat down and asked me more questions about something, right? So here's the thing. This is unwarranted advice. Never ever put your value in how somebody's going to treat you because of whatever you said and did. However they're treating you, that is their burden. It's not yours. It's theirs. All right, as long as you're not being like, a complete, like I said, don't go up and just punch bitches in the face. I'm not telling you to do that just because you want to punch a bitch in the face. I wouldn't. That's where I would draw the line. But if you have something like to say and somebody asks you opinion on it, I get it. Sometimes you just don't want to start a problem. People get mad, so you just don't want to. You just don't feel like going through that. I get that part of it. But overall speaking, that's how I became like that. And again, with the brothels, when dealing with the whores, that's where I really, because when you hear women talk behind the scene, women put on this entire facade on the internet and social media. Okay, there is not one woman. Okay, no, there are a few, but they're usually by the time these women are thoroughly speaking in real shit, like they're usually very accepting and forgiving. See, as soon as you see a woman with an attitude, that is a complete facade. That is a complete image she's trying to withhold. Okay, the vast majority of them fit this demographic. The vast majority of them will. You get some like, what's that woman's name? Because my girl, she likes her, and I like her too. I can't remember her name. She's a woman psychologist, and she talks about men and women's nature. I think she's Belgian. I talked about her a long time ago. She's Belgian, I think. Anyway, outside of those women, the hookers and prostitutes, when you hear how women talk when they're in their real comfort zone, right? When they're in their lowest of the low situations, a brothel is usually a good place because it's no like it's a brothel. They can't even hide it. They're sitting in there and they're sitting there waiting to fuck, right? So they're in they are these women are in the lowest of the relatively in social statuses situations. They're in the lowest of the lowest social, you know, hierarchy of human society, right? Outside of like rapists and shit like that, right? They're in the relatively the lowest until you go to like prisons and stuff like that, right? So when you hear how women really talk about guys and what they were really going after, what they were looking at, what they actually liked, and this type of stuff, oh, you'll lose all sense of trying to be nice. You'll lose all sense of it. You can't keep it up after you hear how women talk for real. But again, women keep this shit very separated from real life because in real life they know if they can manipulate you, now they can just keep moving and swindling and use shit for the most part they can, right? They know it. So they never want to talk like that in the real public because they know because once that gets out, now they can't really swindle anything extra out of people. Like with me, like a woman cannot. A woman, I'm not saying a woman can't do it, but a woman would have to be very good at genuinely swindling me out of something, right? Because I already know that game, right? And I've accepted it. Okay, so that's where it comes from. From like I said, I would recommend brothels. Go to brothels. You may not make a friend the first time you go. You may not make a friend the fifth time you go. But just like regular hookers are no different from regular women. Okay, it's not like I think, and I think a lot of guys who are against prostitutes, I think that's part of the reason why, because they think prostitutes are some magically different, species of human that's been created. Hookers are no different from regular. If a hooker doesn't want to have sex with you, she just doesn't want to have sex with you. She doesn't have to like you, just like a regular woman, right? It's the same shit. The money is a very little factor in here's the brutal reality of prostitution. Money is a very little factor in her actually liking you. Very little factor. Women can fuck a doorknob. They don't care. But if she genuinely is going to like you and respect you, the money has very little to nothing to do with it. Emotions have nothing to do with money. Okay. Now she can fuck. A woman can fuck a dog, a horse, a chair. It doesn't matter. These are things that women don't want you to know. Because as long as you think, oh, sex is sex, because women know as long as you think sex is this magical thing that is highly respected and regarded as valuable by women, then she'll let you keep thinking that because now she can manipulate you further, like a fucking puppet on strings. She can do this to you, if you got that in your head. But once she knows that you're off of that shit, she can't do this anymore. So either she has to run away in anger, yell at you in anger, or fall in love with you. Now, once you're at that point, when you do finally go meet a hooker that you can become friends with, which it definitely happens a lot, hang out with them. I would say, like I said this a long time ago, it would be much. I think prostitutes, the education from prostitutes is worth more than the sex. If you could find a good one that will talk to you. The conversation itself is worth 10 times more than sex. Because you'll learn a lot more. That is my remedy for any guy going through problems. I think that is the exact remedy for any guy going through problems with a woman. Now, okay, let me correct that. In America, women are just fucked up. You can get lucky in America with it, but I wouldn't really recommend it in America because the American woman is just so fucking gone. It's ridiculous. And I'll go on this in a minute to compare her in a situation. I would say come into a place like Europe and go to a brothel here and hang out, talk to them, hear they're gonna lie about some stuff. But even in the lies, there's a lot more brutal truth in that than you'll ever find out in the real world. Right? And see, this is why women love when other men make fun of guys who see hookers. See see, and it's a really confusing situation between the two sexes on why they're agreeing to not like prostitutes, right? Because the one common thing that most idiots always run to is, oh, well, it's sex slavery. Very few girls are actually in sex slavery. Very few. Are completely held against their will. Now it does happen, but in context of the entire game, very few women, extremely few. It's like the fat people make an excuse they're fat because they have a low metabolism and all that. Very few fat people genuinely suffer from that situation. Extremely few. The rest of that shit is just poor responsibility. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. It is what it is. Now, now, back to the prostitutes. The reason why men try to pretend like they don't like prostitutes and sex work is because they think it's going to sound better to the real women, and they think they're going to get pussy points from the real women, um, um, and then they got some misplaced self ego that's been built out of that they're real men now, kind of thing, right? Now, now, the reason why women don't like prostitutes, for whatever excuse they're going to give you, is because the regular women know that the prostitutes will fuck around and educate the men to learn their bullshit. That's why women. But see, women will meet the men in the middle on, yeah, let's just hate prostitutes together. It's kind of the same situation on how Americans don't like Donald Trump and Europeans don't like Donald Trump. Like both of them don't like Donald Trump, but they're both for extremely two different reasons, and they're just meeting on the middle on, yeah, we just don't like Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And they think they're friends off that shit. Well, usually one side thinks they're more friends than the other off of it, right? It's a very similar situation. Now back to this girl real fast because it's 9 o'clock. Let me get off here in a minute. Um, so the what I was leaving off of this girl is the quality of woman, right? The overall quality of woman in North America, the bar is set extremely low in all of North America. Okay, now, when I say the quality, I'm not talking about just the physical, but the physical in combination with the mental. The overall American woman, just the overall quality is extremely low. I said I could look at this woman and immediately I didn't have to see the meat hanging out her mouth in the middle of a restaurant to already know. Look, unless she had a great personality, I would never I would never reach out to talk to this woman. I could tell by the eyelashes and the hair alone. That's all. And the tattoo. Immediately, just by that, it just looks trashy. Now, as an American guy who's never seen anything else, you may not be able to see it right now. But to prove my point, I'm not going to do this just because she's white, but this scenario here where these girls, these women, these old women got arrested in Rhode Island, right? Can you guys see that? Yeah. See now, do you see the quality of you? Here's the even with these with the fucked up camera, and it being nighttime, you can see that there is a certain deeper level of care in their makeup and hair, right? You can see just from this video, and it's even counting the shitty camera, and not just because they're white, but you can see that there is a deeper care in being in just overall physical maintenance, right? Now, in America, in North America, these women can be complete cunts, right? Because in America, the bar is set so low that by the time you see a woman who just properly apply makeup and not overdo it in horrendous ways, and she could have proper hair done, not too loud of a dress on, not all this speckled shit on the dress and all that. By the time you see a woman just with a certain sense of elegance, she's immediately a goddess in North America. And just out of reach of 90% of men. Like these girls, right? These women right here, the physical quality of these women are completely out. Oh, wait, where am I at? Where am I at? Oh yeah, this physical quality of okay. If a dude was willing Okay, if a dude could look at her and not see anything wrong with her, these women are completely out of his league in America, flat out. Doesn't matter, black, white, whatever. Immediately, right? Now the thing is, see over here. Let's just look. Just over here in Europe, like that. This quality, that physical quality. Once these women come to Europe, that's more the norm out here. Now, and like I said when I started this video, I make fun of Europe a lot. And I do think Europe's pathetic in many ways, but this is one thing that Europe just beats North America with is the women. Okay, maybe not in Germany. And some of the UK, well, yeah, I would say where I've been in the UK, the women were better quality in North America. It was still a little fucked up, but better quality in North America. Over here, there is still a conscious in Europe. There's still a conscious sense of elegance, and I can't even explain it, but there is a consistent sense of elegance, even with like the old ugly women over here. Like they still have a sense of being proud of being feminine in some way. Even, okay, here's the thing: the woman that I teach at the bank, she's a director, right? In Czech Republic, she's masculine. Now, as an American, I look at her and I think she's feminine. But in this culture, she's more she would be seen as more of a tomboy in this culture, right? Now, no American would ever see that in her, but here they can, right? Um, there's a certain level of elegance, and just when you just see them just walk down the street, there's a certain sense of femininity in the women here. Like I always feel bad for American. Well, not always because I don't look much, but well, in the past I did. I just didn't think much of it now. But like I feel sorry for American men that have to deal with any American woman. Like I said, I don't see why Donald Trump did it right. Now people hate Donald Trump, but Donald Trump did it right. He ain't fuck with American. When he got that money, he got the fuck up out of America. He left that shit. Donald Trump had it right. I feel sorry. I don't see why men get money and then continue to deal with American women. I don't understand it. Like I said, maybe it's because they don't know anything else and they're too afraid to venture out. Parody account, that's the norm in Europe. Skinny without nose ring or tats. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, parody. Are you talking about the prostitutes? I have more respect for hookers, escorts than the average woman because they accept who they are. To be most hookers will admit to be women is to be prostitute. Oh yeah. Well yeah, not yeah. That's my. Yeah, I've always said that too. Yeah, to be a woman there's no way around it. If it's a woman, it's a prostitute. It'll at least get to that as in time. It'll come to that. Um, but yeah, I really feel sorry. I just feel so sorry for like American men and just the quality of women. I really do. I feel sorry for you guys. And I used to think brothels would fix it, and now I go back on that. I don't think brothels would fix it. I think it's too much damage has been done, and the women have been allowed to get away with anything. I came across this reel while I went logged into my Facebook. It was this guy sitting at a table, he was in a restaurant with this girl, and she was of similar quality as this girl. You know, she's cute, but she's definitely trashy. You know what I mean? Like this is trashy. Like I said, I'm not even counting the meat hang out her mouth. We can take the meat out her mouth, right? And just I could just tell by looking at her, there's gonna be some trash, right? I'm not trying to be mean. It just is what it is. That it just is what it is. It's going to be some trashy shit. Um, Javi's how average woman in America has tattoos, trying to fun without tattoos in America is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Yeah. And here's the thing, like I've always said, with me, tattoos isn't necessarily a big deal as long as the whole package is together. Like let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find what I'm talking about. Check women. Let's do this. Check women. Okay, no. See, like that's too. Can you guys see that? Yeah, I think that's too much. Like I don't want like the whole body covered and all that. But like something like that is fine for me. That's that's too much. That's getting to be too much. But like when it gets to like entire like I mean it looks cool, but that's just too much. It's just too loud. It's too loud for me, for my taste. I don't have a problem with her getting it. If she's in the art stuff like that, cool. But for me, it's just too much for me. Yo, thanks Eric for the $2, man. Let me put this back up. The women here in the U.S. are so cosmetically made up that many of them look like trannies. We have no concept of true beauty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. America, well, pretty much, yeah. Like the Western countries generally lose it. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I would kind of exclude the UK, even though I've heard the UK is going through hard times too. Um, they will try. They do have a little bit more effort because since they're constantly around continental Europe, they always see that competition in some kind of way. Whereas America and Canada is just so far away that they don't have the American and Canadian women, they don't have that same familiarity with femininity and properly applied makeup. So all they're getting, what little tidbits they're getting off Instagram, it really comes off as extremely pathetic. Because then you have these American women who are like learning these makeup tutorials from these other countries of women, but they don't understand that the skin tone will be off. So like their head will be a different color from their neck or their chest. So it's just pathetic. It's really pathetic, right? I find it completely pathetic. I remember when I was in the U.S., I had one female friend and I told her she was the only American woman I had ever seen who genuinely applied her makeup well, which genuinely did it. Like I say her first name because it is a million. Her name was Sydney, and this is when I was tutoring at Sinclair, and she sat on the other side of the desk from me, and she was a beautiful girl. She was so beautiful. Guys would come down because when I would work my shift tutoring, because I was a tutor, but I would tutor other subjects, but I also worked in the writing lab. And she worked in the writing lab, and Sydney was so beautiful that there would just be a constant flow of guys that you had never seen before. Because when you're working in a library in these places, you know the faces, and it would just be whenever she would be on shift, it would just be a constant, just one guy coming to come look at her and fake a conversation with us just to talk to her. Like we all knew what they were doing, right? What she did, I don't think she really got it, but we all did. And but here's the thing, and Sydney was cool. We used to have a lot of long conversations during downtime because we sat at a desk like at a table together. Like she sat across from me, and we would have a lot of long conversations, man. And she really did turn into like my little sister because she was younger than me, and she did turn into my little sister. She's a beautiful girl, and she always had her hair done like just like she could walk around Europe and she would not stick out. She looked like she belonged walking these streets. And so we would talk, and her dad was a dentist, And her family was that kind of family who had traveled around the world, and I think that's where she got it from, was traveling around the world and seeing a bunch of different cultures and seeing the women there. And so she knew she kind of had to put in a little more effort into the little things that make the bigger things look better, right? It's not about just having your ass and tits hanging out. It's fucking, I mean, it looks good on a strictly meat perspective, but like on a class perspective, you look like shit, right? And she understood that. Sydney, she really got that, and her makeup was not overdone. Like her makeup was done in such a way where it didn't even look like she had on makeup, but she had to have had on makeup, kind of thing. I mean, like these girls, these women, like it's done generally in such a way where you would think the only makeup that I can see right now, maybe the one in the white dress, she definitely has on some eyeshadow kind of thing. But like her, like it like this, like she applied it so well to where I wouldn't even think she would like. It has to be makeup because the skin is perfectly smooth, but it doesn't look like makeup. You see what I'm saying? And most American women just don't have that awareness. But Sydney did. Sydney did. And I remember I asked Sydney, I said, I asked her, where did she learn how to do makeup? And she said, she said she went to the Mac school, that used to be Macy's, or I think it was a brand in Macy's. She said she went to Mac school to learn how to do makeup, and that's how she learned to do her own makeup. But her hair, she was the first woman, that was the first girl that I ever recognized split ends, because her hair was so when she let it just down and hanging her hair was perfectly like like, but it's all those little things that make the whole package seem just like pristine, right? It was just black. It doesn't matter what color, what race. It does that. Those things don't matter. All right. It's the attention to the little things that made everything else about her just shine, right? Immediately shine. There wasn't no fake eyelashes, none of that, right? And like with these women now, like okay, like with these women, okay, not discounted because they white, but let's just just the physical, just the care and the quality and the clothes of what they wearing, right? These women could get in anywhere they want to go. If they were brown, if they were dark black African, if they were so black they were purple. The quality and the attention to the little things and that overshooting it, these women can get in anywhere they want to get in and not be told, don't have to worry about being told no. Right? She can get into some hood clubs. She'll be a princess in a hood. But by the time she has to make it to like bigger and better shit, she ain't gonna last too long. I still remember one time I was with a friend, actually the friend of mine who sent me this. We were out because I don't like going out, but him and his cousin asked me to go out. And if you watch, we went to the Green. The Green is this outdoor mall shopping center area in Dayton, Ohio. And we went to this bar. It was upstairs. And I didn't mention it to him. I didn't mention it to anybody, but I seen it. It was a white guy, because this is a white area. It was a white guy, and he was with this black girl, right? And I could immediately tell that black girl had to have been a hooker or something was going on, because like it's the little things. It was the quality of her jeans was just like that shitty quality that she probably paid a lot of money for. Her hair, it was like how black women, like this is another bad way you could tell, like these black girls from the hood who are used to running things in the hood are like dog shit everywhere else. They'll get their hair done. Okay, like for example, how I mentioned this girl right here. See how her hair is like that part is coming down into the food because she has no sense of class. Her hair is literally oily, and now it's getting into the food. We see that little part that's like it's just like hanging out. This shit right here, that little piece that's like hanging out and it's greased up. See, is that those are the giveaways. Like black women in the hood, they don't have that same sense of attention to detail to figure that out. but she actually did a good job. Now I remember times like, because like I said, when I was off in the university areas, and it would always be like a black girl who clearly didn't belong there, because she would have her hair done, but then like the back would be like all nappy, like at the bottom. It'd be like always some nappy, fucked up shit that she didn't fix. But then she's trying to walk like she's got an attitude because she's like, in her come up zone, and she just doesn't fit in. It's just trashy. It's trashy shit. Hands and neck are different colors every time. Yeah, parody account. Yeah, yeah, and I think that I could be wrong. Parody account, but I think that comes from them. Again, I think it comes from them learning makeup tutorials from other bitches on the internet, right? And they usually aren't even the same skin tone as them. And what they forget to tell them is that yeah, it actually has to match the skin beneath this, phone in my face. So they spend their whole time following this makeup tutorial, while she was doing the whole tutorial with the phone like this. Yeah, you do this, you do this, and they forgot all this now. It's just like American, like it's just grow, like at this point, let's say a Czech Republic kicked me out. It could happen for whatever reason. I would. I got about 5 more stops to make before I would even consider moving back to North America. At least 5, at minimum 5. I was as I've been looking at Greece, Albania, Croatia, countries that are outside the Schengen. I think they're outside the Schengen. I'm not sure. I think they're outside the Schengen. A friend of mine is in Saudi Arabia right now. Another friend of mine he's in where the fuck is, I always forget where he's at. Sebastian. I can't remember where the fuck he's at. His name's Sebastian. I can't remember where the fuck he's at. But I going back to North America for me, and I don't mean to like flex like he's traveling the world, blah blah blah. But from my perspective, like I would not, like, no, just no. It's just too depressing. It would just be extremely depressing for me to go back and just walk down the street and just look at the quality of women there. It's gross. The whole concept of wearing jogging pants and nappy leggings and all that. See, like the European girls can wear leggings because if they put on leggings, they're going to make sure the leggings are at least going to look like they're good quality leggings when they put them on. Now, so you got some fat bitches wearing leggings and and all that shit like that too over here. But even with the fat bitches wearing leggings, their leggings are still going to be of a certain quality. That's not, it may not be expensive. They could be from Zara or some cheap shit like that. But they're gonna make sure the leggings, the clothing quality is generally gonna look like they put some effort into it. When I left the U.S., I still remember there was girls wearing leggings with the little balled up, what they call the little pills, the little balled up pills on the legs and all that. It was falling apart. It's just like just the overall, like the quality of women in North. Like here's the fucked up part about women, right? In the world, what I've seen at least, the fucked up part about women is like everything about women are completely backwards. Everything, their timing, all this shit, right? One thing that I've always been able to correlate is, to a point, the poorer the country, the better looking the women are. The richer the country, the worse they end up becoming, either physically or mentally. Now, I would think it would be the other way around. That the richer country, well, the country's rich, so now the women need to do more to keep up with the men, so they'll pay more attention to how they look. No, it doesn't work that way. American women look worse than third world country women, generally speaking. Like they're just like like everything about a woman's development is just I mean, you will find some American women that do look great, but like I said, those women are usually few and far in between, and they're usually reserved for a certain group. And if you're not in that group, you don't get to those women in America. That's just how it is. Out here, they got circuits where they just prostitute in brothels. They literally get on circuits like a music tour and shit, and just go around the different brothels. If they're good enough, they make it further west, and if they're not, they get shit back east. Usually because they've got shitty attitudes, they'll get shit back east. Actually, there was one guy. If you watching, there was one guy. He watched me, and he knew this Russian hooker, right? And had a this Russian hooker had a baby and had a boyfriend back home who was a baker, right? And the baker he had no idea that she was a hooker, and she looked like one of them Instagram girls. She was a good looking girl. She didn't speak English, so we had to translate. He would have to translate between us. He brought her here to see if she could work at Show Park, because he heard me talk about Show Park on here. So he wanted to see if I could get her a job there, because I knew the guy who was a manager down there. So I set up an interview for her at Show Park, and they turned her away. And I kind of figured it, because when we were hanging out, and because we went to go eat before we went to Show Park, and she was telling a story how, back in Russia, she would just she would get a guy to pay her money, and then keep the money and just try to get him drunk so he had to leave. And waste time, and say she had to go take a shower, and scam out of money. See, and that, you'll find a lot more of that out east, kind of thing. You'll find a lot more of that, kind of mentality. And so that's why, the Eastern girls' goal is to get further west because there's more money. But a lot of times, their mentality and culture is a bit more scumbaggy. So, for example, here in Prague, they'll see they'll see those girls and immediately be like, no, because they know they're gonna, because they can pretty much see it in their eyes that they're gonna be on some scumbag shit, and they'll kick them out. Those girls, they don't, it's not how you would think, they those girls, they can, run game on you and all that. No, the bosses in those places will come out and check those women, for real. Because I remember it happened to me one time. One girl had an attitude, and I went and told, and on her, and I sat outside and waited while they watched the video. And they came and said, "Hey, sorry, man. So here's free entries and free food if you come back." And as far as I know, the girl never was allowed back in there. Right? They'll come in there and put their hammer down on them bitches in Show Park out here. They don't play around with them whores out here. Them whores will get it worse than a man will. They don't play and that's the beautiful part about Czech Republic, is that they don't let pretty girls get away with shit. See that hi and all that, they don't let women get away with that shit out here like they would in America. In America, they can get away with anything. They'll throw on that woman facade. Hi, oh yeah, well I didn't know. Oh, wait, maybe I need to go. Maybe if he was nicer. And American dudes just fall for that shit, hook, line, and sinker. Right, but over here, no. Pretty girls don't get away with shit just because they're pretty. Over here, it don't work. They not anywhere near as much as in North America. But again, and now thinking back, I feel sorry for American guys who've never had the opportunity to leave to be able to witness that. I told my dad this story when I first came over here. I'm gonna let y'all go after this. I remember I was walking down the street. I was completely alone. I mean, I really knew nobody when I first came here. And I was walking down the street in the city center. And it was these two girls outside. And one was fucked up drunk. So I went over, just instinct to go, because her friend was trying to pick her up, but she couldn't pick her up. So I just instinctively went and helped her to sit her on this sit on a bench. I kept wanting to call it a sidewalk for some reason. The language is in my head. I went to sit her on the bench. And so her friend, and I think they were Spanish or something. and the sober one was talking to me, said, "Hey, like, can I take you out to dinner? Like, thank you so much, blah blah blah. I want to take you out because you're just so nice, this and that, whatever." And so I was like, "No, you're all right." I was like, "Yeah, whatever, blah blah." But she kept talking to me. Well, because I remember exactly where it was at. It was by the Irish pub down there in the city center. I remember exactly where it was at. Because you got, I've been in there. You got to go downstairs into that pub. Well, a guy came out, and I guess they had fallen out or something, because he came out and they was saying something to each other. Back then, I couldn't tell the languages apart at all, right? So I don't know what language they was speaking. And he just like took the sober one. She was the prettier one. Took the sober and just grabbed her head and just like threw her head over there. And he just looked at me. And he looked at me like he knew I didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? Like he didn't, but it wasn't like I'll fuck you up or something like that. He just looked at me as like, oh yeah, you don't know what's going on, and just left. Right now, to me, as an American, 10 years ago, to see a girl that pretty get treated like that out in public was like witnessing a murder. You know what I mean? Like the amount of simps who would have came to defend her honor and white knight her in North America. It's like Steve Harvey telling the story of "Bite Me, Mom." Like I just hid. Like I'm looking for cover. Like he just said, "Bite me, Mom." Like I don't know if y'all know the story, but when Steve Harvey told a story, when his little boy, he told his mom, he said, "Bite me, Mom." And Steve Harvey said he went looking for cover because he was scared what the mom was gonna do now. And that's how I was. I'm like, oh my god, this dude, like a girl that pretty, got just mean mugged. I mean, like just grabbed her head and pushed it to the side, like just pushed her off, right? And he looked at me like I said he knew I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and he just left. It was completely mind blowing. That shit was wild. But yeah, it's a weird thing, especially coming from North America, to get to a country where the women will legitimately be beautiful. Not like you got to talk yourself into thinking they're beautiful, but they will be legitimately well, physically well mannered, right? To see that, and then see a dude who absolutely doesn't care, and then not only that, but then people around them absolutely not even care, as in to say, what did she do? As an American, that's mind blowing, dude. That's absolutely, and that was my first experience with that. It was no more than a week when I got here. No more. It was no longer than a week. Receipt. Mm. In America, there's somebody beta cuck. There's some beta cuck men that let women run the bookshot. That's going to take something drastic to rebalance the dating market. Hey, Eric, I honestly don't think there's a chance. I think it's over. I don't see a way for America to get out of it. Um, and here's the thing. I think another thing that's pushing America in that situation is because America is so consumer focused, right? Like, then that's a big difference between America and over here. Like over here, I'm walking around with an iPhone 7. Nobody cares. You know what I mean? It's not like now in America, if you walk around with an iPhone 7, a motherfucker will roast you for that. Now, other ways it works out not so great. Let's say when, like I said, that article maybe about a year ago where I brought up where like I said like half the people don't shower for 2 days. Even in the middle of summer, they don't shower for 2 days. But nobody's gonna say anything. Now that is like the beauty of Europe, but it's also a negative about Europe is that you can definitely do a lot more in Europe and not face a social backlash for it. You can definitely get away with a lot more over here, and that's a big reason why a lot of porn stars in their off time they just come over here to live because they can get away with a lot more and not have to worry about being becoming a social outcast. Well, America's got so pathetic now they can just do it in America and not care. But for a while they would just come over here and hang out for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, a year, or whatever, and then go back to America to shoot porn and fly back over here. um, but yeah, to balance it out, man, I the only way possible I can see it becoming a way to balance it out. The only way that I can see is if what was that there was an airplane that was being rumored for a while. I don't think they ever built it, that could fly from like America to like to the general distance of Europe in like a couple hours or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it would have to be a scenario where that the travel time and the ticket cost, those two things by themselves is what kills a lot of Americans from getting an opportunity to leave to a completely different mentality and culture. Um, and then be able to like backpack through it, right? Because you could really go to Mexico and all those, the islands down there. You could really do that. But even then, that ticket price, like if the ticket price could be lowered to like $150, and then the travel time would be like a couple hours, I think that would be the start of American men finally be, because once the hard part is flying to Europe. That's the hard part. The plane ticket and the length of the flight is the hard part. Once you get here, you can find a hostel to go sleep at or something like that for real cheap and just walk around all day, right? Like, but the hard part is getting here. Like, and I think that's another part that Americans really aren't used to understanding. Because in America, if you fly anywhere in North America, well, the hotel is going to cost as much as the plane ticket anywhere in North America. So it's like you have to come up with all that. But Europe's not like that. You can find places to sleep for cheap. That may not be the nicest shit, but you can find it for much cheaper. Well, I don't know. Well, now things have changed so much, but hostels still hold up. Let's look up hostels real quick, just to prove my point. Things have changed so much, but the hostels usually hold that same position because they're usually for like, college kids traveling and stuff like that. Let's just go to a random site, but it shouldn't be any more than like $10 a day or something. Because here's the thing: once you get over here, you're not going to be on staying inside. Because once you get to Europe, is really made. Well, most like especially cities, they're made to walk around and see shit. So you're not going to stay. You're not going to want to even stay inside very very long. Let's just do this for. Let's do check in, check out. What's today? 8/20. So let's just do Saturday. Let's do Saturday. Let's do for a week. Short notice for a week. So right here, I think that looks pretty nice. Can you guys see that? I think the first one looks really nice. Um, so it's a bed and a four bed. So you'll have three other people with you. But that's a nice. If the dorm looks like that, that's a nice dorm. And for a week, that's 1,800 crowns. Just if you go, you can just look up eight. Well, I'll do it. So just to prove my point, 1,800 crowns should be about $70-$80, something like that. Yeah, it's $85. $85. So for $85, you got a place to sleep for a week, and that's just the first one I found. I actually know where that's at. See, like this is what hostels usually look like just these like wooden, like a prison, like a homeless shelter. But it's not. It's a different mentality, man. You don't got to worry about anything like that here. So yeah, so if you just fly over here, if you just want to cheap out, which I've known guys that sleep in homeless shelters when they fly places just because it's free. But if you just want to cheap out, you can just right there, $80, $90 for a week. You can just pay it and not even go. But at least now you got that bed reserved for a week in case something happens somewhere else. You got a bed reserved for you got a bed for you for $80, right? In case anything else goes wrong, you can go rent an expensive hotel. And if something wrong with that, now you got a backup bed to sleep at, right? It's right there. Don't come to EU. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here because I'm hungry and it's getting late. So I'll catch y'all later, man. Y'all have a good day. Thanks to everybody who tuned in and donated. Thanks to everybody who liked and all that, typical YouTube chatter. And I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace out.